So at the start of April, Oda decided to disrupt all of One Piece with the amazing chapter 1044, where we got the new Devil Fruit confirmed and revealed. It was amazing. Everything was awesome. And at the beginning of April, because of this, I decided to do weekly chapter reviews. I said that I would do it for the month of April. April is now coming to a close. I'm going back to monthly now, mostly just because I read the official, so I'm reading it on Sunday and then getting this video up to you on Monday. And traditionally Sundays have been family days for my family, and I want to not do videos on Sundays. So I'm going back to monthly, which no one had time to get used to before Oda disrupted everything. So if you don't know, there's a video that I can link that explains it all. You know what? Here's a schedule. This is my May schedule. These are the videos that I'm doing. I post manga videos on Mondays, so you can look at the Monday row. That's my schedule for this month. Now let's talk about this chapter, because it was a great one. So we start this chapter off with a little mini flashback for Momo, and oh, did it hit me right in the gut. Kinemon's speech was beautiful, and really, between Kinemon and Luffy, who has also been hyping Momo up a lot and challenging him and forcing him to face his fears and to step forward. I feel so bad for Momo because he really he's a child with the weight of the world on his shoulders. And in an instant, he went from being in a happy family with both of his parents and his sister to his dad dying and his mom saying, I'm staying here and I'm probably gonna go ahead and die too. You have to leave. And now you have the weight of our entire kingdom and people on your shoulders. Like, that's so much for an 8-year-old to have, and him being immobilized by fear is such a reasonable reaction for him. And I hurt for him. I hurt for him so much for what he's had to go through in such a short period of time. And getting this flashback where he says, I can't do it, I'm a kid, this is way too much pressure. And then Kinemon saying, please, will you allow us to die, Samurai? Him begging him, give us this chance to keep fighting. And then we snap out of the flashback. Well, first, then he says, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take on this position that you ask of me. And then we snap out of that flashback and it's him saying, I failed you, Mom. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a devastating way to start the chapter. I hurt for Momo so much for all the pressure that's been put on him and all that he's trying to accomplish, but at the end of the day, he is an 8-year-old child that's facing the man who killed his father, that literally all these people are gonna die if you can't create clouds in a second with no practice, with no preparation. Like, that's so much pressure. I hurt for him. I loved this scene with Luffy and Kaido as well, because Luffy, the last few chapters have been so exciting and so fun, and this power-up has just had me ridiculously excited. And it was a nice, humbling scene for me to see Luffy throw the lightning bolt, and in the last chapter when he's standing over him and he's all tall and he's got the lightning bolt, and it was such a great panel. And then the stark reality of Kaido just sidestepping it and hitting Luffy, and Luffy trying to hit Kaido again, and then Kaido just smashing him. And what Kaido says here, play all the games you want, but abilities alone cannot conquer the world. I'm gonna pause there because I need a second to let that soak in, because as hyped as I've been over the last few chapters about how powerful Luffy is and how incredible these abilities are and what it all means and how it all fits in with the story and how great this whole thing has been, at least from where I'm standing. And then I get this, I feel like I got knocked down with Luffy here, with Kaido basically saying, yeah, have fun, but the reality is who you're facing is both more experienced and more skilled. And you having this cool power-up is not enough. I love that. I love that, because it's not as simple as Luffy's fruit was awakened, he gets a cool power-up, Kaido gets swiped down, which it already wasn't that. We've had a couple of chapters since the power-up, but the fight is not over, because just getting a power-up isn't enough. Just having bigger, stronger abilities isn't enough. It takes a lot more than that. And I also love this line, of course, when he confirms that Roger didn't even have a devil fruit, which now I just gotta know, is it because he wanted to be able to swim? Is it because he was looking for a particular one and he never got it? Did he just decide, I don't really want one? I would love to know, but regardless, I feel like that opens up a world of possibilities for the world, for non-devil fruit users, that somebody could become the pirate king with no devil fruit. That opens up the world so much to so many people, but also it just kind of magnifies how amazing Roger was that he became the pirate king with no devil fruit. Like, this is just, I love it. I love it. Because only Haki can transcend all. Love it. Again, it's such a humbling scene of, you know, this devil fruit was awakened and it's like, oh man, this is amazing. But then Kaido reminds us, he slaps Luffy down and he reminds us, this devil fruit will only take you so far. You need a lot more behind you than just that. Anyway, then he gives him the destroyer of death, knocks him into the sky. Luffy grabs a hold of him. Kaido tells him, you dummy, you've given away your position. And then we cut to the people sending their lanterns up in the sky. And once again, we're leaning on the great convenience that everybody's sending their lanterns up in the sky, and when they do, they just decide to pinch their eyes closed real tight because every single person decides, I don't need to see the lantern go up. I'm just gonna close my eyes, because if I look up, I'll know what's going on around me, and we don't want that to happen yet. It's a bit silly, but I've said this in a couple of videos before. I'm not going to keep saying it, but I'm waiting for what Oda has planned for these lanterns, because as I've said in several videos previous, I think that it's meant to be this big cinematic moment, like when Crocodile was defeated and the rain fell in Arabasta. I think the same thing's going to be happening here, where the lanterns are going to go up and Momo, who desperately needs motivation and who needs courage, he will see the hopes of his people that he's fighting for. And as they take down Kaido, the wishes of the people will be going up. And I'm waiting for that cinematic moment. But regardless, besides that, I really like this scene because it's a stark and painful reminder as we see these people laughing and smiling and having the time of their lives as they're saying such dark, sad, desperate things, like the festival's coming to an end and tomorrow we'll be slaves again. I hope I get to live another year. And it's just a reminder that these people don't have a choice but to smile and to laugh as they're sending their wishes up and they're thinking about what tomorrow is for them. Another day of being enslaved, another day of having no freedoms, another day of being ruled by somebody who harms them, who kills their family, who doesn't care. Another day of life on Wano. But they're smiling and they're laughing because it's the only choice they have, because even the choice to cry or to mourn or to be sad over what tomorrow is going to bring, even that has been taken from them. I love that we cut to this here because it's such a great reminder of all that Kaido has stolen from these people and just gets us more hyped to see them liberated. Oh yeah, and then also then we cut to a bunch of other people basically saying, you know what? It's okay if I die here. I'm actually really okay with dying here. Luffy, you do what you gotta do. I will take death if it means that everybody else gets to be saved. And that's kind of been the posture of people all throughout this final battle, where people have repeatedly been saying, it's okay if I die here. I'm going to die fighting. I'm not going to accept another day as it's been for the past 20 years. I'm not okay with that. And if it means that I die here, it means that I die here. And this too, where they're remembering the people they love who are in other places and they say, you know what, Luffy, just take him down. Just take Kaido down, because if that means that they get to live the rest of their lives in freedom, I'll die for that. Except for Usopp, who says, I'm not gonna die here, not today, which is also great. Freaking Orochi. I really want it to be Hiyori that takes him down. I really want it to be Hiyori. She had it. She had it. She had him trapped, and she didn't kill him, and now he's free, and I don't want someone else to swoop in here and save her. And I was talking to this to my patrons. I read this with them right before I came here to film, and I was talking to them, and I was like, it would be okay if the guy who raised her, it'd be okay if he's the one that swoops in and saves her, because we're still waiting for something to happen with him since he's been out of commission for so long. But one of my patrons reminded me that it kind of wouldn't be satisfying if it ended that way, because then it would be Hiyori trapped him, and then instead of killing him, she delivered a monologue, and then he gets free, and he's chasing her down, and he's gonna kill her, and someone else swoops in and saves her. And I love Hiyori, and I don't really want that to be the way this whole exchange ends for her, even though I could really see that happening. I just feel like she earned this. You know, she deserves to be the one to take out the other man that is responsible for the death of her parents and responsible for the last 20 years of hell that she has lived in. Just let her have this. Just let her be the one. I'm still also holding out hope for her being the new shogun at the end of all this. Anyway, we ended on an amazing spread. Luffy with the biggest fist of all the fists in every fist that has ever fisted, popping through the clouds, and he says, "Hey Momo, I'm gonna put an end to all of this, but Onigashima is in the way, so move it." And then he says, "Do it, Momo. I believe in you." That is a great end to this chapter. Seeing Luffy saying, we're done. Kaido essentially earlier in the chapter is saying like, yeah, have fun, but just wanting to do this, just having a little power up, it's not gonna be good enough. And then here Luffy is getting serious and saying, okay then, let's end it. Because all through this, Luffy's been saying, isn't this fun, Kaido? All through this, Luffy has been having a blast. And Kaido basically said, take this seriously. And Luffy says, okay, Momo, move Onigashima. I love this because this is Luffy taking it seriously, and I love this because this is Luffy once again trusting Momo to be able to do what he knows he can. Momo, and this is exactly what Momo needs because Momo is so in his head. Anytime he's told to do anything, he's scared. He's just a kid. He panics. He says, I can't do that. That feat is too large. And Luffy is here saying, you don't get time to think about it. Move Onigashima, because I'm going to throw this punch. I love this because this doesn't give Momo time to panic and to say, I can't do it. All he can do is go. And I mean, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. The next chapter is gonna be great. And I know that I probably should continue doing chapter to chapter because we have a lot of really exciting things coming up. We still need Kaido's flashback. We have a whole bunch of loose ends to tie up. And of course we have the final defeat of Kaido coming up. There's a lot of exciting things that are about to happen. But I am going back to batch reviews, and if Oda decides to break One Piece once again, like he did in chapter 1044 in a new way, obviously, if he decides to do something crazy again, I'll do a bonus video, but for now, there's my schedule. That's the plan. I loved this chapter. I have loved all the chapters since I have caught up. It's been so much fun. Please tell me what your favorite part of the chapter is. What did you love that happened in this one? I have a lot of videos coming up that I'm really excited about, so I hope that you are excited too. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I post vlog channels on my second channel on Thursdays. I'll see you again soon. Bye.